Hi, this is Joe Unger from the movie Broke Sky, and you're listening to The Movie Raid.
It's time for The Movie Raid, and this time we have an actor who has played in A Nightmare on Elm Street, including Broke Sky, that's finally been out, and that is Joe Unger. You there?
Hey there, how you doing?
What's going on?
Not too much. Thank you for having me on, man.
Anytime. Have you ever thought of directing your own films as well as TV series?
Actually, no, man. It's all I can do to try to get my job done. You know, I got a deal of respect for good directors, but that's a little bit above my pay scale, to be honest with you.
So you pretty much want to stick to acting?
Yeah. I mean, I'm a good actor, especially in films and especially in TV. Actually directs himself to a large degree. You know, I mean, obviously the director has a final say, but especially television, it goes so fast. I mean, you gotta come ready, you know, and show the director what you got or what you have in mind, and then make adjustments on that. But you know, I mean, I certainly don't look at acting like this along your lines and show up and hit the marks, you know.
Yeah.
It's something I've been doing for a long, long time and value very much. You know, value the craft of it.
Because I mean, it's a huge difference when you're doing TV series. It's pretty much like a quick shot, and then it takes another 6 to 10 hours just to get it, you know, in the final cut. And then while film takes like, you know, months to years to make.
Well, I mean, that's true. I mean, TV, I mean, a 14-hour day is not unusual at all. And, but, you know, I mean, these people out here are so good, so good at it. I mean, all the different crafts. I mean, these people are just, I mean, they're experts, you know.
So pretty much, have you ever thought of actually, you know, trying it out for once, though?
Or directing?
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I've directed some for stage, but, I mean, that's sort of a different medium. I mean, I understand the different departments of making film, you know, from lighting to music to props to all. I mean, I have an understanding of it, and I think it's part of any good actor's job to have an understanding of it. So in a sense, everybody makes everybody's job easier. But the technical skill that goes into directing now is, you know, something I just never had pursued.
You also worked in plenty of independent films. I mean, is it actually a better benefit for you now than it is back then? Because then the higher budget films.
Well, I'm not sure I understand your question.
Well, meaning like back then, where you really pretty much had to scrape for a dime out of the sewer, you know, just to get into film. But now, higher budget films are pretty much doing all these remakes and paying other actors far more money than you.
Well, yeah, man. I mean, you know, I've done a lot of independents, and there's not a hell of a lot of money there. You know, I mean, when you work on a big budget picture, number one, you may work a longer period of time because the schedule is longer, and a part that might shoot out in a week on an independent movie, you may be there a month on a you know, major studio big budget picture.
So
ideally, you'd like to do both, man, because you want to make some. You know, you got to make a living. You know, I mean, it's not a hobby. You got to make a living, but oftentimes it's much more satisfaction in the indies. You know, because they don't always go for. Well, I mean, by nature of their budgets, I mean, they can't go for like, you know, the huge names. So oftentimes, an actor who doesn't have that kind of status. I'm not talking about his ability, but in the world of Hollywood, the status might get an opportunity. For instance, like Broke Sky. You know, if that had been a big budget movie, which by the nature of it, I don't know if it ever would have or not. I mean, I certainly wouldn't have had the opportunity to play the role.
I mean, what do you think the future is for independent films? Because a lot of them are pretty much still being underground. Even it's 2010, and a lot of films are still not even out there yet.
Well, I mean, there's certainly more markets for them than there ever have been. I mean, our picture just got picked up by Independent Film Channel, which is extremely gratifying because, I mean, unless you're just making a slasher straight to turn a profit deal, man. I mean, most independent films, to get a chance to get picked up and shown on IFC is an honor, and I certainly look at it that way. It's playing now. It's on IFC On Demand. So if anybody wants to take a look at it, you can go to 2 sites on YouTube to get an idea of what the picture is. One of them is Making Broke Sky, not to be confused with Broken Sky.
Yeah, didn't that have something to do with gay people or something?
Yeah, Broke Sky is about gay Mexicans, and I have nothing against either one of them, but that's not what our movie is, you know. So, I mean, go to YouTube, Making Broke Sky, and there's also Broke Sky trailer, and I think that people will be interested. If so, go to IFC On Demand, and the picture's available there. That'll be for a couple months, and, you know, I mean, sooner or later, maybe it'll go to the other cable outlets and also to DVD. But right now, that's where you can see it.
So it's pretty much still on the underground base, you know, as far as DVD and all the other stuff.
Yeah, it's not on DVD yet. You know, it will be, but it's not yet. I mean, we won like 4 different film festivals. Won one in Memphis, which is really gratifying for me because I'm from Tennessee. And to go back to sort of where I started, and the film to win Best Picture was a trip, man. A lot of my family was there, and some really good friends through all these years up in my little hometown. They came down, and it was a blast. And the director and producer were able to come there, and we shot the movie in the director's hometown. So for him to come to Memphis, and for me to be able to extend a little touch of the hospitality that they extended to me in Texas was a fun thing, man.
Oh yeah, I mean it's another Jeff Burr film.
Yeah, Jeff Burr's great, man. He was acting as producer on this film, but I know Jeff going back to Leatherface, Texas Chainsaw Massacre 3. That's where we met, and we've remained really good friends ever since. And I've worked with him a number of times. And but you know, he acted as producer on this. He had used Tom Calloway, the director, as a DP on a bunch of stuff, you know. And Jeff just did a great job, as did the other producers, in keeping this adventure together, man. Because it took us. We shot and started shooting in '02. We shot some more in '03, and came back in '05 to finish the photography.
Yeah, and then there was like '07, and then now.
Yeah, it's right. You know, pretty much it's been a damn decade, man. Because I mean, they brought me the script 3 years before we shot anything.
Shit, man! If you were at like a Grammy Award or nominee award, you'd be up by 17, 18 by now.
Yeah.
It's been that long. I mean, you know the film Toys.
I don't know.
With Robin Williams. Well, that film took 10 years to edit.
Jesus Christ.
10 years. I was like, where the hell happened to that? What the hell happened?
You know, I mean, with us, it was like Tom trying to get money between times. I mean, you know, because he sold his house for the initial deal. But then, you know, he works all the time as a director of photography. He's excellent. And so we would shoot, and then he'd have to go to work to make some more money to shoot some more. You know?
Well, I mean, that's pretty much like the theater-wise, where you got to invest almost all your cash, and you never know if the film or the theater itself is going to make it.
Yeah, I mean, that's true, and I'm really happy for him that IFC has picked it up. I mean, it's a real validation for him and the people who did invest in it and invest so much time and effort into it, man.
Well, I know that. Is there much CGI in this film? A Broke Sky?
No, I don't think there's any.
Sweet. That's the best thing.
He shot on 35 millimeter. I mean, that's where he comes from. He comes from shooting film. And so although it was more expensive, that's the look that he wanted. I mean, that's the part of the country he came from, and I'm sure one of the things he wanted to do was capture the beauty of that place, man. And he certainly did. The picture looks great.
So, do you consider this film to be a do-it-yourself type film, or did you have a whole lot of help from it during the making of it? Are there companies investing in this, or is it pretty much just all you guys?
Well, it was. I didn't invest any money in it, but I certainly invested a chunk of a decade into it.
You wasted some of your years of life in this.
Yeah, dude. Pretty soon, if it took any longer, it'd be Social Security, man. But, no, it was small investors. Very small investors. Probably Tom. He put in a huge chunk, and then he got other investors, and now it looks like maybe they'll actually be able to make their money back, and hopefully, get some return on it besides the feeling of knowing that they helped create a nice picture.
Was there anything like actually sacrificed in this film that would have been on the film but didn't make it?
Anything you do are sacrifices,
Oh, yeah.
Whether it's just time or money, sun's going down, you didn't get the shot the way you wanted, you don't have that location again the next day,
Nope.
So, almost, maybe not an Avatar, but, anything almost short of that, there's always sacrifices. You put your best out there and work with it,
Oh, yeah. Another question is, what are your thoughts on studio or location film? Do you actually prefer to be on location, or do you pretty much balance it out between studio and then location?
No, I like location, man. I like location.
Because location, you're right there, but yet in studio, it's somewhat good because you can take a few things out. Because, like, say, trees in the way or whatever, you can, like, move it out of the way.
Well, yeah, that's true.
Or you make it stop raining, whatever.
Yeah, you can make rain, you can do this, you can do that. But, from an acting standpoint, to me, there's nothing that beats being at a place, man, because you're there. You live out the story of the people who are involved in a real environment. And, to be there, to me, is like the best, man. And besides, I like hotels.
Oh, yeah?
I like being on location.
Free shit. So with Broke Sky, tell us a little bit about the characters.
Okay, it takes place in a small town in Texas, contemporary. About two guys that have a job working for the county. Their job is to scoop up and take away roadkill and dead animals, dead farm animals on the road, and that's their job, man. That's what they do, morning to night, hot or cold. That's their job.
And you play as Earl.
Yeah, my name is Earl. I'm a sort of older, crusty dude of questionable morality, let's say.
Mm-hmm. You're pretty much your character is between from being a friend and later on actually becoming a psycho.
Well, I guess psycho's one way to put it. I'm not going to judge my character like that. As you find out as the movie develops, there's a lot of secrets between myself and my buddy who I work with named Bucky, who's a younger, very conscientious dude, and he's a young married man and wants to start a family. And as the movie goes on, the conflict grows. A certain outside event happens that turns things very dark, and then the secrets start to come out. And so, it goes to a level of psychosis, I would be safe to say.
Because you can see it in the trailers and somewhat, and the other guy, Bucky, he's pretty much could be your best friend, but then on your character, it looks like he's slowly becoming, insanity. Kind of like, Stanley Kubrick's The Shining. Slowly show, insanity at times.
Yeah, there's no doubt about it. Through a series of different events and work pressures and personal pressures, personal secrets that have been weighing on this man for his whole life. You know, I mean, as we find out later in the movie, the fact that this guy had any peace at all, had been able to, he's a survivor. He found a way to deal with that past, and maybe not in a method that was the most healthy, but it's certainly in his way of coping with the events from his past, had found a way to be a survivor and to have a life. And that just all starts going straight to hell, man. It starts falling apart. And it's the way it goes, man.
Would you actually consider this to be an actual example as far as an industry for this type of film, or even the acting?
I didn't quite catch that.
Would you consider this to be an actual example as far as a genre or the acting in the industry? Meaning, like, telling other people, it's like, hey, check this film. This is a classic. So look at Night of the Living Dead. It's the biggest zombie flick in history. Yeah.
Well, you know, I mean, come on, man. I mean, I think that way. I mean, I believe in this thing since the beginning. I mean, since the very beginning, when Jeff Burr and Tom Calloway brought me the script, and the script changed a whole lot. It started out as just sort of a Texas noir film, and Tom kept adding layers and layers to make it a much deeper psychological deal, man. So the film kept getting better. But I've always believed in it, and I'm not exactly the best guy in the world at self-promotion, but no, I mean, I certainly have no problem whatsoever with standing 100% behind the quality of this movie.
Well, we got to run out of time, but we're going to keep going a little bit further. So,
right.
Let's do questions or so. What are your opinions on remakes?
Well, most of them suck, dude.
Exactly.
I mean, come on, man. I mean, you get mediocre at best TV series from the '70s being made into huge budget movies, you know. And hey, man, I mean, I'm not a businessman. I mean, they make money off of them, so I mean, it's show business. So, but in terms of what I like, and you're asking me, so I'll tell you. No, I don't pay them any mind, man. I just don't, you know, they don't mean anything to me.
Yeah, it's actually the biggest issue in today's generation, because that's all you ever see these days is a remake upon remake upon remake. And even if it does look like a decent title, what is it? It's a remake.
Yeah.
Even if you never heard of it, like, you know, the horror film Funny Games. Yeah, it looks decent until, oh wait, it's a remake.
Well, you know, I mean, I guess if you got a really great story and a different angle on it, I mean, you know, why not? But especially the bigger budget stuff that just shows it weren't very good to begin with, really.
It shows that it's fake.
Yeah, and I really think that television nowadays is much better quality on the whole. They were always been really, really good shows, but I think on the whole, the quality of TV, both on the networks and the different cable channels, nowadays is excellent. I think it's really good. The quality of the writing, the acting, the directing, I think is really good.
Yeah, well, even TV series are starting to die down, though. You'll see a lot of cop shows these days, but you really don't see a whole lot of actual, you know, movie series anymore.
No, not too much, man. I mean, you know, reality TVs.
Yeah, it's not even reality.
I
mean, really,
so many hours of broadcasting on the networks, you know.
I mean, it's these so-called reality dating shows. Yeah, I want to see some desperate, pathetic chick making out with 12 other guys. Yeah. Yeah,
really, man. That's like I'm gonna sit home in my house here and watch that shit. Sorry.
Screw that. I'm gonna watch the Chiller channel or Sci-Fi and watch Twilight Zone. Fuck you.
There you go.
I mean, that's another thing.
I was watching All in the Family when you called. And you know what? I mean, it's just as funny now than when it was on 30 years ago.
It was a classic then. It still is a classic.
Oh, definitely.
Even MASH, the film, other than the film, but even the TV show MASH, huge classic now.
Yeah, it is.
And they cut off their show on purpose because they know they were getting ahead. But sooner or later it's going to turn to shit if you just keep dragging it on and on. It's like with sequels. Some sequels is actually decent. Some are a risk because I'm sorry, but the Saw series, you dragged it on so long. Now there's like 7, and now they're losing money because of it because they dragged it on too far.
Yeah, I mean, shit, if it works, I guess pull it out there again and try to do it. I mean, it's always a balance, man. It's trying to make money and then trying to make something that you really want to make and have it at least show a profit, Well, yeah. And I mean, if you can do a mix of that, I mean, I don't know what job, unless you're very, very fortunate or very, very fortunate few, get to do projects that really turn them on all the time, man.
Mm-hmm. I mean, in this day and age, the film industry is not really that impressive as it used to be. Like, another question is, what are your thoughts on the horror and the science fiction genre no longer being as popular as they used to be?
Well, I mean, it runs in cycles. I'm going to Monster Mania Friday there's a movie I did called Close for the Season that is premiering there, and it's a pretty neat little story. I mean, it's a hard story, and I haven't seen the movie yet, but had a great time shooting it. It takes place in an abandoned amusement park, and it goes in from what is reality, what isn't reality. I mean, it's a very adventurous project, but I have high hopes for it.
So tell us a little bit about that, if you can.
Yeah, it's a man named Jay Wolfel, who's a very accomplished director, and he's from Ohio. And there was an amusement park there that was, it was like a center of attention for that part of the state, like the northeast part, from like the late 1800s, and it closed a number of years ago. But the skeletons of the rides and the booths are still there. So, I mean, it's all grown up with vegetation, and then you'll round a bend, and you'll see the skeleton of the old roller coaster, man, or the Ferris wheel, or different rides like that. So he got a script he wrote a script for to actually take place in that park. And we had a great time shooting, man. I mean, I played like a barker. I'm a carny, so I play about 5 different kinds of clowns, plus a barker, a truck driver. Anyway, it's called Close for the Season.
So you're all over the place in this one.
Yeah, pretty much, man. I had a lot more words than I usually say.
All right, we're going to run down the time here. So, give us more links on Broke Sky, where to check them out.
Well, I mean, you can see the whole cast and crew list on Internet Movie Database. Punch in Broke Sky. And again, go to YouTube. And bring up Making Broke Sky and Broke Sky Trailer. Again, not Broken Sky, different movie. If you like what you see, go to IFC On Demand, and I hope everybody enjoys it.